shoe game.
Yeah.
Was wearing like a light jacket.
Yeah.
When is that weather going to come back? That's what I want. I want gumbo weather and a long sleeve shirt. That's what I want.
You know what we had? We had like, ooh, here's some cold weather. And then one day of spring, and then it's 95 degrees and face melting.
92 degrees today, as Daniel Phillips said. Joining us on the phone today from Washington, Senator John Kennedy. Good morning. How are you?
Morning, Rob. Morning, Bernie.
We're excited to talk to you. It's a lot going on.
We have so much to ask.
I do want to start. We're 12 hours away now from the Trump-Kim Jong-un meeting over in Singapore. Comes after a rather eventful, social media-wise, I guess, G7 summit. What do you make of it all? Do you think we're making headway with our allies? Will we make headway with Kim Jong-un? What's your thought? We haven't heard a lot from the party this weekend.
We don't know a lot about Kim Jong-un. We don't have real deep intelligence about North Korea. It's obviously the most isolated country in the world. Kim Jong-un he appears to be, sly like a fox and crazy as a loon, but not completely crazy. He doesn't have a good track record. He's amoral. He's a butcher. He obviously doesn't care about his people. He starves them to death.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to be realistic about this summit. I'm glad we're talking. I think the reason we're talking is he's scared to death, and President Trump has done a good job of scaring him and keeping him off balance. But I don't want people to think we're going to just have a 2 or 3 hour meeting and wrap all this up, and he's going to give up his nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
This is going to take a while. We've got to be firm. We've got to continue to make it clear that if he doesn't give up his weapons and his ability to make weapons, then we're going to keep starving him to death. I hate to do it to his people, but we have to. And that a military option is definitely on the table.
Yeah.
And I give you Syria. I mean, President Trump did it twice. I think the world knows now when he says something, he means it.
All right, so we'll keep our eye on this.
Yeah,
Obviously,
definitely.
we're 12 hours away. I want to talk to you about a couple other things that are going on here in our state. I know you keep track with kind of where we are. We're going into a third special session. Obviously, people are looking really close at where spending is and everything. Last week, there was a report by the auditor's office showing, a lot of spending with it, and that was the Department of Highways.
It was Louisiana Highway Safety Commission,
yes.
That was weird.
You were pretty outspoken about looking closely at where this spending is going, because now the person who is heading that organization is now working at Southern University, managing another budget.
And that's part of the problem with government. When people don't do their job repeatedly, instead of getting fired like in the real world, they get rewarded. I mean, this lady, I don't know her. Governor Edwards put her over at the Louisiana Highway Safety Commission, gave her $40 million, which came from the American taxpayer. It was federal money. She spent most of it on salaries and benefits. And by benefits, I mean she bought jazz brunch tickets. She went to the Essence Festival. She ignored the bid laws on her consulting contracts, paid huge amounts of overtime. The money was supposed to go to keep from getting people killed on the highway. She spent it on herself and her buddies. And instead of getting fired, she got rewarded. She now got a promotion out at Southern University. And this is why people have no confidence in the state of Louisiana to spend their hard-earned tax money efficiently. And I know we're about to go into our third special session. I'll tell you what it looks like to me. Governor Edwards hasn't made any attempt to try to control spending. He hadn't done anything to control labor costs. He hadn't done anything to cut the waste. He hadn't done anything to control pension costs. He hadn't done anything to try to control health care costs. All he does is either blame it on the legislature or blame it on Bobby Jindal. Now, look, I criticized Bobby many times, as I think people know, but that's been 2 years ago. Now he says he's going to turn down $1 billion worth of federal money because he can't find $35 million in a $30 billion budget to administer the food stamp program. Well, if he can't find $35 million out of a $30 billion budget to run the food stamp program, so he's going to turn down $1 billion. $35 million out of a $30 billion budget is less than 0.1%. You can just call the first 50 names in the Lafayette phone book. They can do it.
Yeah.
And if Governor Edwards can't do this job, he needs to step aside. He needs to turn it over to Billy. Let Nungesser take a shot at it. Because this is getting ridiculous.
The contention among a lot of people is that these things are never in jeopardy. That the partner hospitals are not in jeopardy. That the nursing homes are not in jeopardy. That TOPS wasn't in jeopardy. And now we're hearing about the food stamps. Is this just kind of political games gone too far?
Yeah, and it's not funny. I mean, this scares people half to death. I mean, the governor sent out a letter saying people are going to get kicked out of nursing homes.
Yeah.
He's doing that to try to put pressure on the legislature. Mm-hmm. But look at the human cost of that. He scared a lot of elderly people. I got phone calls in my office and my state offices and my office in D.C. And I tell them, look, folks, this is just a political game. It's a joke, but it's not a funny one. And now he's doing it on food stamps. And he, if you remember a year and a half ago, it was LSU football. I'm going to shut down LSU football. I just don't think he can run the government.
Yeah, well,
and if he can't, he needs to step down and let Nungesser take a shot because this is ridiculous.
Well,
I mean, we've gone from in 2005 we had a $16 billion budget. Today it's $30 billion. We hadn't added any people, and we got young people leaving in droves, and it's not all federal money. About more than half of it is state money. He's got plenty of money. The legislature offered him to increase taxes, like I think it was $400 million.
Pretty close to that.
Yeah.
Even a little more, I think.
He threw a tantrum and said, "No, I want $650 million, or I'm going to shut government down." Well, grow up, So you don't always get what you want.
Where do you think this leaves Louisiana? Because not only do you represent the people of Louisiana, you represent the state of Louisiana, in Congress. And, I hear from people all the time. I've worked in several different states. Every time some crazy headline comes out about Louisiana, whether it's with the hospitals or, whatever thing comes out, a lot of people can't believe our government in our state runs so inefficiently because, our neighbor, to the west, and I hate comparing us to Texas because it's a completely different size, completely different everything else. But you're talking about most states that operate with at least a balanced budget, most likely a surplus. Why doesn't Louisiana? Why can't we?
It's leadership. I mean, I hate to say it. Look, Governor Jindal is a friend of mine. He did pretty well his first couple of years as governor. Then he got bitten by the presidential bug, and he ran outside him to run for U.S. president. And he went out there and kind of ignored Louisiana. Mm-hmm. Then we had a gubernatorial election. Senator Vitter ran. We know about his personal problems. He probably shouldn't have run. I think David would tell you that today. People were obviously upset about him. So they elected a liberal Democrat, John Bell. And I've known John Bell for 10 years or more. He's very smart. He's a nice guy. He's a liberal Democrat. And he wants his way. He thinks he has a mandate. And he thinks his mandate is to tax and spend like they do in Massachusetts or California. This isn't Massachusetts or California. This is Louisiana. Yeah. He's got plenty of money. He needs to stop scaring people half to death. He's not going to shut down the food stamp program. He's not going to shut down LSU football. He's not going to shut down the medical center there in Lafayette. And if he believes that he has to, he needs to step aside and let Nungesser run the show or somebody run the show because he's got $30 billion. That's B as in billion.
Yeah.
He's got so much more money than I ever dreamed the state government in Louisiana would have. We haven't added any people. He just can't hack it. I'm sorry, he can't.
All right, I want to take a deep breath here. After all that, we got a lot of problems we got to fix. I want to talk about something really cool. Lafayette attorney Frank Nooner, who we know really well.
Great guy.
You hear her daughter, Gretchen, come on our show as well. She does a lot of work with nonprofits as well. We got a release last week that says Senators Cassidy and Kennedy today welcomed President Trump's appointment of Frank Nooner to the board of directors for the Legal Services Corporation. The LSC is the nation's largest provider of legal assistance grants for low-income Americans. Congratulations, first of all, to Frank. Congratulations to everyone who works alongside him to make all the work he does possible. Tell us a little bit about your impression. You guys were excited with this appointment.
Well, the Legal Services Corporation is a big deal. It's a federal agency. You don't hear a lot about it, but its job basically is to connect people who need a lawyer with a lawyer.
Yeah.
And that's important because one of the things that separates us from Russia and China and other countries, North Korea, is that we have a very, very solid judicial system. And if you're charged with a crime, you're innocent until proven guilty. And if you can't afford an attorney, we help you get one. It's called basic justice. Frank Nooner he's one of the smartest guys I know. He's an experienced community leader and a lawyer in Lafayette. He used to be chairman of the Public Defender Board from Louisiana from I think from 08 or 07, 08 to 2013.
Yeah.
He's an LSU grad. He's just a great guy, smart as heck. And Bill and I are just delighted that the president picked him, and we strongly encouraged it, and I'm glad the president did it, and Frank's going to do a heck of a job.
I hope maybe it would come into his purview, and I'm sure he's done work on this in the past, but, we have a huge public defender problem here in Lafayette Parish and across the state. I mean, I think the backlog, last time we talked to someone, was something like 1,200 people who either are in jail or out on bail waiting, for a trial and don't have a public offender. Is that something that you can push for? Is that something that he could push for as part of this agency?
Well, we probably all ought to push for it. I mean, here's the problem. Bob, you know this. We in some areas in Louisiana, we've got a crime problem. So we spend most of our resources trying to catch the bad guys and punish them. But you can't lose sight of the fact that in America, you're innocent until proven guilty. And part of being able to prove your innocence, if you are, is you're having a lawyer. And some people can't afford a lawyer, and we've decided as Americans, and I think it's a good decision, that if everybody's innocent until proven guilty, and if you can't afford a lawyer, we're gonna help you get one, because that's what's called justice, and that separates you from the rest of the world. But it's low on the totem pole in terms of priorities. And as long as I can remember, our public defenders have been short of money. I realize that. But it's hard to get them money because people, and I don't blame them, they want to spend most of the money on fighting the crime. And I get that. But they're both important.
It's a lot of things we got to deal with.
Yes.
Senator Kennedy, we appreciate your time this morning, as always.
And your candor.
Hey, thanks, guys. Good to talk to you. I'm in Louisiana. I'm headed back to the swamp this morning, but I miss our state, man.
I'll bet so. Well, if you get a chance,
we have real swamps here. I mean, if you love a swamp.
But our swamps are good swamps. Washington, D.C. is a bad swamp.
Wow.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Take care. All right, so he didn't hold back. I mean, he was very candid about what he thinks about all of it.
But yeah, we had problems. I mean, we've known we had problems. We've been trying to talk and work through these, but
yeah,
you know what? I think a lot of times, and a lot of people do see it as a leadership issue, no matter which one you're talking about. No matter which issue we talked about with him, it seems to be leadership. Wow. All right, 8:26. Going to take a quick break here.
Yes, sir.
Take some of your phone calls, maybe, if you have some comments or whatever you think about what the senator had to say. Glad he's back in Louisiana, though. The food's great.
Yeah.
So much better than D.C.
Oh, yeah.
All right, stay with us this Monday, June 11th, 2018.